Breaking news, HBAR drops a few bombshells. Shout out to our brother in space, Smoke. He can be followed over at SMQKE DQG. Consider joining the smoke room. Just in, July 2025 report reveals publicly traded company Immutable Holdings will begin strategically accumulating HBAR tokens. Massive signal. On top of that, corporate treasuries are actively seeking ISO 222 compliant assets as the foundation of their long-term digital asset strategy. This is key. And look at this quote. The company believes HBAR is a high-quality digital asset. Let's actually show you what we're talking about here in the documentation. And as we get into it, it's literally on this particular page where it talks about this, and like it shows right here, from Immutable Holdings, boom, high quality digital asset. In fact, as we zoom out just a tad bit, for you can see it, it's got a long-term potential according to what you see here with obviously Immutable Holdings, and on top of that it says distinguished by Hedera's networks, enterprise grade performance, low transaction cost, carbon negative operations, and growing adoption among enterprise and obviously public sector applications. Hedera's predictable fee structure and consistent throughput and decentralized governance model are in fact additional factors that may make HBAR, yes it says HBAR, a compelling candidate for long-term digital asset treasury management. So this is in fact a very, very big deal, and I want to get to some of the other screenshots because when we get into it, again, understand that this was posted literally like you see here just the other day, and there's of course some more breaking news to get into. You might not feel this one is necessarily breaking, but there's a lot of other updates that are in fact breaking. So 2 days in a row in regard to some of the breaking news, but whatever the case be, I do like to share this with you guys because again, when you see that they point out including the advancement of HBAR corporate treasury and that approach, again, some of you guys point out it just says Hedera. Well, what is the tokenized version of Hedera? It's the asset, the digital asset of HBAR. So definitely worth pointing out. And again, even when we get more further into it, like you see here, basically, as we zoom in, it's a little bit more about how this all comes together in 2025, as pointed out here, basically. And I do feel as though that is truly, truly a big deal because, again, the native asset of HBAR on the Hedera network. Okay, very, very big deal. We have some more that we're going to get into from Smoke, and let's go ahead and basically jump into that. How would you like to earn an extra $100, $200, or even $500 a day, even more than that? I have many friends that are earning money every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. I'm currently following Numbers Not Feelings, so even if you don't know how to trade, there is a way to make money. But I suggest learn how to trade, earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy, you don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet. The Decent wallet was not affected by the recent XRPL debacle, where the backdoor of many wallets was open and there was a breach. So Decent wallet was not affected by that. Decent wallet is as safe as you keep your seed phrase. It's a wonderful product, and you can get the discount by using the link. It's the only way to get the affiliate discount, and that is to use an affiliate link. So that link is popping up on the upper right side of your screen, and it is the one that you will use. You will also get free shipping. Pick you up a Decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on an exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. Thank you. So at the end of the day, Yeah, it was documented. We're going to share some of this and get more basically into this. So, for one, I want you guys to understand this. A lot of publications, whether it's Investor Plays, the NASDAQ, and so on, have pointed out a while ago that they feel as though Immutable Holdings is quote unquote the Berkshire of blockchain. We know that Berkshire-Hathaway has basically the highest price, if you want to look at it from a per stock from that perspective. So Berkshire-Hathaway or Berkshire of blockchain, interesting to see the terminology, right? Well, for me, when we get further into this, I want you guys to realize that, Immutable Holdings being dubbed the Berkshire-Hathaway of blockchain due to its business model, which mirrors the Berkshire-Hathaway approach of acquiring and holding a diverse portfolio of companies. Well, would that bring exposure to an industry, a big industry? Well, yeah. This is obviously led by Jordan Freed of Immutable Holdings, and of course aims to democratize access to blockchain tech, cryptocurrencies by building a portfolio of subsidiary companies that offer essential products and services in the blockchain ecosystem. Now, I'm going to get into just a few basic things on why the comparison to obviously Berkshire-Hathaway holds, okay? So when we talk about this diversified portfolio, I want you guys to keep in mind, like Berkshire-Hathaway, which by the way owns staked, various industries, they have, for example, the connection to insurance, energy, consumer goods. Immutable Holdings has assembled a range of blockchain-focused subsidiaries, such as, I know it sounds kind of corny, but NFT.com. I mean, at the end of the day, a platform for non-fungible tokens. HBAR Labs, supporting, of course, the Hedera Hashgraph network. They also have this thing that dates back to at least 2021, according to my knowledge. It's called 1-800-Bitcoin. And of course, it's for educational resources for crypto adoption. But immutable asset management is a simplification of digital asset investments, of course, for institutions. That's big. So the diversification provides investors exposure, of course, to multiple facets of the blockchain industry through the single stock, which is called hold, right? You know how we're always hodling? Well, with them, it's literally called hold, HOLD. And of course, this is not financial advice in regard to stocks. I don't really cover stocks on this channel. If stocks is your thing, well then awesome. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, in regard to their long-term investment strategy, you have to keep in mind, yeah, we know about Berkshire-Hathaway. We should by now. They're obviously known for acquiring companies with strong fundamentals for long-term growth. But seemingly, Immutable Holdings seeks to acquire or invest in promising blockchain projects. Now, you think about this, wouldn't that position itself to capitalize on the sector's growth as developers look to scale to exit their ventures? Well, yeah. So, at the end of the day, it's all about accessibility and democratization. Just as Berkshire-Hathaway makes it easier for investors to gain exposure to a wide range of industries, Immutable Holdings focuses on lowering barriers to blockchain adoption. For example, 1-800-Bitcoin service providers basically provide education materials like what is referred to as the quote-unquote Bitcoin for everyone. It's a guidebook. NFT.com offers a platform for both collectors and creators to engage with like NFTs, and that course is going to aim to make blockchain accessible to, of course, the masses. Now, for me, and even you, your key takeaway from Immutable Holdings, and again, we're going to get more into all these big updates, your key takeaway should be that Immutable Holdings has definitely high profile backing. And what I mean by that basically is Immutable Holdings has in fact attracted investments from notable figures like Kevin O'Leary. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he is a big name, right? And it does mirror, if you look at it on the surface, how Berkshire-Hathaway's reputation is bolstered by, for example, Warren Buffett's credibility. Now, we know that Warren Buffett, for the most part, isn't really tied to crypto. He's more pro-cash. But even in one of my deep Jasmy outlines a while back, which I'll show you a end screen card that will take you to that. He has investments into Japan that are tied, of course, to crypto. So it's kind of like indirectly speaking, he is invested into crypto. So O'Leary's endorsement, particularly for assets like NFT.com, underscores the company's potential to lead in the crypto space. Now think about that. Well, what else should we think about? Well, it's like this. If you look at the vision for industry leadership here, everybody, Free's vision is to make blockchain tech what is referred to as a quote-unquote basic human right. And they're going to do that by providing tools, resources for widespread adoption, much like Berkshire-Hathaway's role as a cornerstone of basically diversified investing. Now, Immutable's focus on both consumer-facing brands, for example, 1-800-Bitcoin, and institutional offerings, for example, like Immutable Asset Management, does in fact position it as a central player in the blockchain ecosystem. However, it's worth noting that while the comparison highlights ambition, Immutable Holdings operates in a nascent and volatile industry. Well, true. Unlike, though, Berkshire-Hathaway's established portfolio. So that's worth pointing out. But as of 2021, many of Immutable's ventures like NFT.com were basically still in development, and their success, basically seems as though it's speculative. But from what I gathered, by July 2025, again, this is roughly the last 2 days of this month, Immutable Holdings had appointed a new interim CEO, and that is Melissa Charlton, and reported holding 48 million HBAR tokens. Now let that sink in. That, to me, ladies and gentlemen, indicates continued focus on blockchain infrastructure, particularly with the Hedera hash graph. So that's just my own little 2 cents about Immutable, and I wanted to get more into it. Here's their website. What do we have here? Well, basically, like it says, the HBAR and Blockchain Holding Company. Interesting to see the terminology, the logos, how it all comes together, and so on. And again, this has nothing to do with Immutable X. Of course, that's another cryptocurrency out there, but I just want to throw that out there just in case there's some people wondering about that. I've covered Immutable X, but of course that is not the point of what we're trying to get across here. But yes, as you see here, updated as of July, 48,715,000 HBAR. And like it says, corporate treasury, we are growing HBAR position through our wholly owned subsidiary, Immutable Asset Management. Do you not understand how this all comes together? The other part I want to jump into, because I do want to be transparent with you guys, okay? I did see this person earlier, which I was aware of this as well. Shout out to this guy, Wolf of Warrior Street. He says, research Jordan Freed in Immutable Holdings. He was sued for fraud. Oh no, this is doom and gloom. While working with Immutable Holdings, this guy's a scam artist. Again, he feels as though, we shouldn't trust him. Well, from what I gathered on this, I kind of want to talk about this for a brief moment. So what he's referring to, and this is interpreted, of course, from Espanol, Spanish to English, is what you see here from the Tribunal Electrónico.ramajudicial.pr, right? And I've gone ahead and thought I would show this and share this with you guys. Sorry, kind of getting ahead of myself. But as you see here is some of the things in regard to this particular case, okay? So you see the plaintiffs, Abound LLC for itself, part of the, some of the, the information here. Again, attorney Andrew G. Prout, NFT.com, remember we just talked about that. And again, defendants, Freed, LLC, Immutable Holdings, et cetera, et cetera. All these complaints filed, again, dating back to 2022. You're more than welcome to look more into this if you choose to do so. But it's been kind of a thing that's been dating back for a while, right? So basically, like, did they ever come to like a conclusion of this? I mean, as you see, like the dates even drag on until, as of late of June 27th, like it says here, order issued and signed by Judge Andres M. Ramirez regarding the informative motion of supplementary production submitted by plaintiffs. For a lot of people, like, man, this doesn't seem great. Let's talk about this for a brief moment. So from what I gathered, just based off current data, and again, you're more than welcome to nerd this out. I don't want to divert too much from the main subject. Um, if anything, let's face it, I'm not saying this guy's a troll, but sometimes people can completely derail a topic. You may feel like I'm doing that, right? I'm not trying to do that. But from what I gathered, and again, you can look into it yourself, based off of the current data. So like literally, this last day of second last day to the month, right? July 30th. It seems more likely that the lawsuit, from what I gathered, is a personal issue for Jordan Freed. And I want you guys to understand that it's more personal rather than a corporate issue for Immutable Holdings. That's very, very significant. So the allegations appear to target his individual conduct, possibly from personal business dealings or partnerships, rather than implicating the company's core operations or HBAR strategy. So you have to keep in mind, that said, the situation warrants close monitoring, which you can look more into if you want. Maybe we get more into it later on a different day. But as any escalation, for example, evidence of company involvement or a guilty verdict, well, could this shift the impact towards Immutable Holdings? Draw your own conclusion, but at the end of the day, we just need to check these updates from the Puerto Rico court or Immutable Holdings official channels as of obviously today moving forward. So the way I look at it is, at the end of the day, like, it's this current assessment for this, and again, the evidence from what I gathered leans towards, again, this being more of a personal issue for Jordan Freed. His allegations appear tied to his individual actions. For example, the fraud claims from partners or investors rather than the systematic, or the systemic, I should say, corporate failure at Immutable Holdings. So again, personal versus corporate. I'm leaning towards personal. And again, if you know more about this topic than I do, drop it in the comments. Voice how you feel that's more of corporate. I'd like to hear from you in regard to that, because for me, the distinction is not definitive without full court documents or an official response, of course, from Immutable Holdings. But the potential for reputational spillover to the company, yeah, it still exists. But at the end of the day, from what I gathered, it seems more personal than corporate. But again, that might be too divisive. I want to get back on topic of this, the topic of HBAR and the breaking news and the multiple bombshells, if you want. So again, shout out to Smoke. He literally, DM'd me some of this, and I was really appreciative of this. So let's talk about this for a moment. Hedera blockchain powers first ever FX trade with tokenized collateral by Lloyds Bank and Aberdeen. Been a while since we talked about Aberdeen. In 5.4 trillion daily UK FX market. Keep in mind, when you do the math on it, that's 1.3 quadrillion annually. My goodness. Quote, landmark collaboration, HBAR securing its place in financial history. And like Smoke points out, this is documented. So let's go ahead and pull up what he has in that regard. So you see here, basically, digital assets breakthrough, Aberdeen Investments, Lloyds Banking Group, and Archash complete UK first use of digital assets. Like it mentions here, excuse me. It's UK first initiative in the highlight. Okay. Tokenized units of Aberdeen Investments money market fund and tokenized UK gilts were used as collateral for foreign exchange. I have covered, a lot about quant and I think XTC in a while back. We talked about some of these gilts. So again, collateral for foreign exchange trades between Aberdeen, we haven't talked about Aberdeen in a while, and of course Lloyds. These digital tokens were issued, they were transferred, and they're securely held by Archax, which is a UK FCA regulated digital asset exchange on the Hedera Hashgraph public permission blockchain. Wow. On top of that, just because we saw that and pretty impressed with it, how about this? UK trades, yes, the United Kingdom trades 5.4 trillion in FX and interest rate derivatives daily, accounting for half of global activity. So when we talk about how big this is, I've used this expression of utility in motion. What happens when we have full worldwide, basically, regulation moving forward, and especially, let's face it, for the UK and Europe and so on, right? That's going to be a major big deal. What happens when full ISO 222 mandate rolls out November 22nd, 2025. How do you feel about this? I think this is a major big deal. So glad that obviously Smoke is sharing this with us, right? So that is definitely a big deal as well. The other thing I want to jump into is this last part. Again, like I said, multiple bombshells, big day for HBAR. HBAR staking goes live on Swiss Stock Exchange with regulated ETP listing. That is major. Listen to this, everybody. Native HBAR staking rewards now fully integrated with regulated investment vehicles, passive income opportunities using ISO 222 compliant tokens, because some of you guys are asking about that. Well, they're becoming a reality. I would say they're coming to reality 100% as well. Like he points out, documented. Let's jump into this. And even if you were to look this up yourself, you would see, and again, here's one of the sources, okay? You would see it comes from DeFi Technologies DeFi Technologies Inc. Actually was originally reported July 17th, but that's still a very, very big deal. Some of this stuff kind of flew under the radar. But Valor, I've talked about them in the past, enters Swiss market with HBAR and ICP staking, ETP listings on 6 Swiss exchange. Shout out to you guys that also hold, of course, ICP. I do feel as though that there's a lot of potential, obviously, in ICP. I just don't cover ICP. There's a person that's the face in the community of that. I know that doesn't matter, but I just don't really want to cover ICP because of that guy. Anyway, moving along. But there's a lot of great utility with ICP. Okay, so access to native yield through regulated ETPs. Both products offer secure, transparent, and regulated exposure to HBAR and ICP while integrating native staking rewards directly into their structure. I mean, I covered ICP in the past before, but anyway, it is what it is. Who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind, but it ain't about that. All right, so at the end of the day, integration of native staking rewards directly into their structure. So again, shout out to ICP. Okay, it's not just about HBAR. That's also very well worth pointing out. This part actually isn't highlighted. I want to mention this for a brief moment. This is going to accelerate towards 100 ETPs in Europe, because remember how we were just talking about Europe? With this launch, Valor now offers 75 ETPs across Europe and continues to expand its footprint in line with its goal of reaching 100 ETPs by the end of 2025. So again, major update. Glad to bring this from Smoke, and glad to bring this to you all, because it tells me there is a big shift that is literally about to happen in regard to all of this. And when you understand the bigger picture, now you realize, yeah, we probably should talk more about things like HBAR. And we do talk about HBAR on this channel quite often. So there you guys have it. Do me a solid if you listen to the entire outline and simply type this key phrase into the comments, and that is immutable, and I'll know that you listened to the entire outline. On behalf of myself and those I'm networked with, know what you have, know why you hold it. The research trumps FUD 110%. Hey, some of you guys in the comments mentioned that you like the music that comes up at the end of some of these videos. You can get some of those on the Patreon. There's about roughly 20 in that showcase of the music. And again, if it's not the type of music for you, well, then you can move along. No big deal, right? We all have different tastes. But if you're wanting some of those, you want a way to be able to download it, it is on the Patreon. And there's basically, like I said, about 20 of that similar style. So check out the Patreon if you choose to do so. I won't keep you guys any further. Thanks again for tuning in. May the Lord Jesus bless you all. I truly, truly mean that. We will catch you on the next one.
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface, he looks calm and ready to drop bombs, but he keeps on forgetting. What he wrote down, the whole crowd goes so loud. He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's joking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over blow. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity. Choked, he's so mad, but he won't give up that easy. No, he won't have it. He knows his whole back's to these ropes, it don't matter. He's dope, he knows that, but he's broke, he's so stagnant. He knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again. Yo, this old rhapsody, better go capture this moment and hope it don't pass him. You better lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. Yeah. You better lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. You better. His soul's escaping through this hole that is gaping. This world is mine for the taking, make me king. As we move toward a new world order, a normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to postmortem. It only grows harder, homie grows harder. He blows, it's all over, over. These hoes is all on him, coast to coast shows. He's known as the globetrotter, load of lonely roads. God only knows he's grown farther from home, he's no father. He goes home and barely knows his own daughter. But hold your nose, cause here goes the cold water. These hoes don't want him no more, he's cold product. They moved on to the next schmo who flows. He knows Dove and Soul Nada. And so the soap opera is told, it unfolds. I suppose it's old, partner. But the beat goes on. Da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-da. You better lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. Yo, you better lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. You